So dear partners, thank you for joining our second Gurtam meetup and the first Gurtam meetup in North America. Due to the current situation with COVID-19, we made a decision to organize this meeting virtually today. And who knew, just a few weeks ago, we were planning to engage in in-person discussions about wialon UI with Todd Morris, right in his office in New York City. Hi, Todd, thank you for joining. And we were also planning, to visit our good friend Mike Lawless from sunny San Diego. Well, today it's not sunny, but usually it is. Welcome, Mike, and thanks for joining.
Good morning. Thank you, Anna. Good morning.
Of course, we were hoping to be the host of Sam Pelchat from Quebec right here in our office in Boston. Hi, Sam, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning, all.
And good morning. And further, I'd like to notice that we were really hoping to further our partnership at some expos with David Seijo from Ahad, Florida. Hi, David, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, however, we all know how unpredictable life is and how rapidly plans are getting changed, right? We have seen the impact of COVID-19 on our communities, on our businesses, and not to mention day-to-day human interactions. We are, however, fortunate to have the access to the technology and to the internet, which enables us all to meet today virtually. That enables us to deepen our partnership and to foster an even stronger partners community. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Demina. I'm a Vice President of Business Development in North America, and today I will be the host of this meetup. As you might have guessed, we are here today to discuss the impacts of COVID-19 on telematics and how we as businesses are adapting to this change. So just a few housekeeping notes and then we'll start. For those who are watching us, and thanks so much for joining, well, I'm asking questions to our panelists. You may simultaneously throw in your questions in our chat. And please pay attention that there is a setting that allows you to send those messages to both panelists and attendees, and please use this setting. My colleague Kate will pay attention to the most pressing questions, and then she will pass them to me, and I will address those questions to our esteemed panelists. So now I will pass the stage to our experts and let them introduce themselves to our audience. Mike, would you like to be the first one?
Me, absolutely. Thank you, Anna. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Lawless. I'm Executive VP of DCS here in San Diego. We've been a proud Gurtam partner for, I'd say, about 5 years now. And appreciate you having me on here today, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Todd, would you like to continue?
Hi, my name is Todd Morris. I'm the CEO and founder of BrickHouse Security. We've been in the GPS business for 15 years and been a Gurtam partner for about 2.5 years now.
Thank you, Todd. And David, would you like to be the next one?
Sure. My name is David Seijo. I'm the president of Assure Telematics and Apollo EOD down here in Miami, Florida. We've been partners with Gurtam, I believe, 6-7 years now. Happy to be here, Anna.
Thank you, David. It's our pleasure. And Sam, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. My name is Sam Pelchat. I'm with Laxson GPS. We are based, headquarters are based in Montreal, Canada. We have also an office in St. Albans, Vermont. And we do mainly cover the Eastern Seaboard up to Miami.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for these introductions. Well, dear panelists, the current pandemic is indeed a shock for the whole world. And it is affecting every aspect of our lives, especially our health and the health of their workers on the front line. We have also begun to hear that the world might fall into a global recession. The first seeds of the damage that the pandemic has done to our economies and businesses are already visible. So my first question to our panelists is, what was your initial reaction to the rapid spread of this pandemic? And as a business owner, what were the initial steps you have taken to adapt yourself and your business to the changing business environment due to COVID-19? Well, David, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you, Anna. And first, before, just want to make sure that all, the whole Gurtam community is staying safe, healthy, and, sticking together and get over with all this. But I think our initial reaction, of course, was to take care of ourselves and our family. The first decision was to work from home. So we began working from home on March 16, actually. Wasn't that hard. Pretty much all our business systems are on the cloud. So of course it took a couple of days for people to kind of adjust to a new reality, get used to, isolate and all that. But because of having everything on the cloud, it was very easy. So I guess that was our first initial reaction. And then of course we got together, on the phone and talk about how we could help our customers. And we thought about it was not only about our product and services, is everything that we could do to help our customers during all this uncertain period, I guess. So we piled together, all the different federal ID packages, a paycheck protection plan, everything that we could put together and share with our customers to make sure that, they were able to go through and have some sort of business continuity during this time. So we put that together, we send it out. We thought about resellers, customers having issues, collecting payments, paying of vendors and all that. So we sent an email out. We came up with the emergency subscription aid, just to let them know that we're here to support them, to work together with them. If there are any issues, we'll work together through this. So that would not be an issue. Then on the product and service side, we thought about kind of giving some peace of mind to the drivers out there. And we thought about, things that we could do to help them out. One thing that we did is we enabled engine malfunction codes, DTC codes, which is a paid service, but we enable it across all customers. We push it out just to kind of make sure that, if they're driving, if they're moving, medical equipment, whatever it is that they're doing, at least from our side, make sure that they have one less thing to worry about, which is, vehicle maintenance, taking proactive action. So that's basically how we reacted to it initially.
Thank you, David. I think these were very, very important steps to take, and the safety is the priority here, the safety of our drivers, the safety of our employees. So thank you. And Mike, would you like to continue? Would you like to be the next one to share?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Absolutely, Anna. Absolutely. So yeah, I can, I can definitely expand on what David said there. And thank you for that, David. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, really where we are now after that initial reaction. And I'd say really what I encourage everyone to do right now, if you're a customer facing employee of the company, is in a word, communicate, right? Communication is the most important thing right now. I like to say, and there's a saying, and never let a crisis go to waste. And this is certainly a full-blown crisis. And people, they not only want to talk, but they want to be heard. So I think it's also important not to talk at your customers, but to make sure you're talking to them. Ask them questions. Of course, ask them how their family's doing. How are their friends? Is everything okay? Personally, are they okay? But really get them talking, right? Let them tell you about their problems and look for those pain points, right? Find out where those pain points are, and just try and have a conversation with them. I think the communication right now is the most important thing. I don't really think it's the time to be out cold calling people unless you really feel that they want to be heard as well, or they have something to say. It's a great time to circle back around the wagons, go back to all of your existing customers and partners and ask them questions. I say a lot too, Anna, what we all do is solution sales. This isn't a commodity, right? The prices don't go up and down. It's about the value of what you're selling. And if you're a true solution salesperson, you're asking questions all the time. That's all you're thinking about is what is the next question. You're listening and you're noting those pain points. So I think it's very, very important to be asking questions right now. Look for those pain points and really how can you help? How can you ease some of that pain right now? I think it's really a great time for that. I think it's also a great time to look at some peripheral value that you can add right now, right? There are a lot of great tools at our fingertips. And, you know, one, I've had a lot of conversations with Speed Gauge over this last month. I think it's very important to look at some other things that you can add and layer on some additional types of solutions for them. Speed Gauge has a great solution right now where you can benchmark your fleet, right? And Jonathan and I just spoke again yesterday about this, right? Get these tools, it's free, right? Use it free for 30 days, however long you need it. Let's benchmark your fleet. Let's take a look at your driver scores, right? There's this kind of open road phenomena that's happening right now too, where drivers may be driving at excessive speeds, right? So it's a good time to really benchmark your fleet, check your driver scores, you know, use this as an opportunity to, again, you know, kind of circle the wagons, but really, really take a good look at your business. And I think all the tools that we have between Gurtam and Gurtam's partners really allow you to do that. But again, in a word, I think it's just communicate, Anna.
Mike, thank you so much. And yes, I certainly agree with you that communication is the key to success. And thanks for mentioning the Speed Gauge solution with which we integrated. And if you'd like to learn more about that integration of wialon with Speed Gauge, please contact your personal managers and they'll share the details. Mike, again, thank you. And now I'd like to pass the microphone to Todd. Todd, what were the steps that you decided to take once you noticed that this pandemic is very serious? What was your initial reaction to the spread of the virus?
Well, our main office is in New York City, so it was pretty clear pretty early that we needed to get everyone working remote. So very early in March, we had everyone working remote. We have another office in the Philippines, and they actually shut down those offices very quickly. So we had to get all our computers out very quickly so people could work from home there. So really it was a scramble to make sure that people who didn't normally work from home had what they needed to work from home. Most of our staff in New York had the ability to work from home already, but a lot of the team in the Philippines didn't. And then we have our warehouse in Indianapolis, which we want to ship product, someone's got to go in. So we had to come up with a plan where one person at a time, we'd have only one person in the warehouse each day, and they'd work independently all day. And then the next day, someone else would come in. And before people came in, they'd spray with Lysol, and before they left, they'd spray with Lysol. And that enabled our team to alternate shifts and work, one long day each and keep them going. But that's the only part of the team that's still in office, so to speak. The other thing we did is we put a reporting project into place. So every day we sit down and decide what happened yesterday. Are we seeing more cancellations than previous, less sales than previous? How do we balance this? What's the effectiveness of our ad cost on a daily basis? So a lot of things we were doing weekly or monthly, we dialed back and said, this is changing so quickly, we need to be looking at it daily. So every morning we look at what were cancellations, what were additions, new activations, new sales, every day. And we're looking at that and trending them by the day. And we are seeing some trends that we need to take advantage of and some trends we need to worry about.
Thank you, Todd. Just to summarize, I hear that, again, the communication, not only with your clients, but also internal communication in your team is very important. And those meetings help you to make sure that you are all on the same page and that you are getting the most of it. And yes, again, the safety of your employees, using Lysol, using sanitizers, very, very important. Thank you. And Sam, would you like to to be the next one. What was your initial reaction to the spread of the pandemic, and what steps did you took to make sure that you're adapting, you are reacting quickly?
Well, thank you, Anna. Yeah, very good tips from the guys before. Our business is probably a little different than the other businesses. Half of our business is loan workers device, loan workers solutions. So, and here in Quebec, we were very proactive. First week of March, we sent everybody home. Second week of March, we did, like Mike said, and it's important, we took the phone and talked to all our customers, mainly with personal devices, making sure that the phone numbers that were dialed were the good ones, the supervisors alerted were the good ones, all that stuff. And even the customers, they were saying, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's check that out. And within a week, we did that. And that was our first reaction. Of course, with WeAtag, very easy and quick to deploy, we offered to the customers that didn't necessarily add WeAtag to have it, to release it to not necessarily loan workers, but employees that now are working alone and they're supplying the phones, and they may be a supervisor or they may be a team leader, whatever that is. And so we got a lot of response on that. So and the second week we did call all our telematic customers, trucks and everything, and for them, looking with them if they were considered as essential services, so still running. So making sure that we told them that we are not considered by our government as an essential service, but we are still open because we are essential to you, or you are essential to us. Yeah. So that's what we did. Everybody's home. I'm the only one in the office. So no danger for the others. And so that's what we did mainly. And like the guy said, communication is the main thing. And I do call 10, 15 of them every week just to make sure that, because some of them, well, for everybody, the situation is evolving daily. And for some of them, it's the same thing. What was true last Tuesday is not going to be true this Friday. So, because we're there to service our customers. And like the three gentlemen said before, we have to think one step before them. And when you're proactive and you just ask them if they're okay, if they need something, they value that. This is what we did.
Yes, and I certainly agree. It is now more than ever important to think strategically. And what I noticed is that seems like all of our experts, you and everyone, experience. It seems like you faced some crises before. You know what to do first and how to react quickly. So it's a pleasure to hear that you are all adapting quickly to the situation. Well, now let's dive into this major change on the macro level. We don't know what the future holds for us and how long the pandemic will last and have an impact on our lives and our businesses, right? But what this uncertainty means for us, it pushes us to get prepared for the worst case scenario and perhaps even modify the approach to sustain and grow our business. So therefore, I'd like to offer everyone to explore the immediate risks for telematics businesses. And I also would like to ask you to share your suggestions with our audience on how to minimize these risks. So now really focusing on those threats, risks, and challenges. And Mike, would you like to be the first one to elaborate on this question?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can, Anna. So the, you know, what is it? The SWOT theory or something, right? Isn't it SWOT? It's like I forget what the acronym is, but yeah. So the risks are apparent, right? Everyone's scared to death that customers are going to start canceling it. And Todd, I think that was a great point, right? To look at those metrics, you know, roll that back, look at it really on a daily basis. That's the biggest threat, right? That I think we're all concerned with is, will people start to cancel? And I think Gurtam's offered some great programs also to help ease some of that pain, right? So, I encourage everyone, implore them to take advantage of what Gurtam has to offer as a partner. That's certainly the risk. But I think there's also a lot of benefits to that as well. I mentioned earlier about, giving our partners and customers the ability to benchmark their fleet. I think that everyone right now is trying to do more with less, right? So just like we're home or in a remote office, everyone's remote, right? There are a lot of people, and think about it, if there's even let's look at first responders, right? People may not be back in that main hub and able to really dispatch and watch their fleet the way they used to, using the tools, the resources that they have internally, which up until now has been mostly humans, right? A lot of phone calls, a lot of communication, right? Some of them, yeah, they have their dispatch systems, but I think there's so much value in what we offer today. And we're on one right now. I mean, Zoom, right? Look up their stock. They've done very well. I never heard of Zoom, right? A couple of weeks ago. Now I got my kids doing, they're in Zoom classes or whatever every day. So I think there's a ton of opportunity during this period as well. Everyone's going to come out of this changed, right? And even the perception that people have of us as companies, as business leaders, as salespeople, they're going to look at us a little differently. Their perception of us is going to be changed, and it could be changed for the better, or it could be changed for the worse. So, I think there's a lot there to take advantage of as well. But I think the risks are apparent, right? We're all afraid that people are going to cancel, and that may happen with some of them. I'm encouraging people, listen, take a breath. How about we just suspend your account? Let's suspend it for 2 or 3 months. Put in a suspend mode. I don't want to see you knee jerk and cancel. There'll be no payments, no problems. But when you come out of this, I have to imagine people are going to be flying, literally flying on planes constantly. I know I am, right? People are going to be moving around trying to catch up. There's going to be backlogs for plumbers, electricians, HVAC, all these service companies that we all like so much, right? They are going to be moving, man. So, I'd like to use this time. Again, before I pointed on really communication, I think there's also some, how can I say it, readiness to happen here as well, right? We should be talking to people and ask them how they're getting their company prepared and ready for when business picks back up, because I really believe it's going to pick up, and it's going to pick up in a big way. This is a temporary experience, in my opinion, that we're all going through, and when we come out of it, I think there's going to be a lot of benefits to the risk we're going through now. I don't know if that answered your question, Anna, but that's kind of where my head went when you asked.
Well, Mike, you're always one step forward. We'll have our time to talk about the opportunities and then what the future holds for us. But yeah, you have really, really good insights to share, and thank you so much for sharing it. So now I'd like David, you to help me with this question. And again, right now we'd like to focus on those risks that you see. The more risks you actually see, the better you will get advantage of them. And yes, of course, the risk of losing customers is there. But let's think, what else besides this? What else can be the risk, can be the threat to the telematics industry right now? David, would you like to elaborate on it?
Well, I think by now everybody must have a business continuity plan. I would assume. I think one risk is because all the uncertainty and not knowing how things are going to happen in a day, in a week, or 3-4 months from now. I think a big risk is that we have to be able to adapt, and I guess we need to, at this right now, have different metrics that we need to look at on a daily, on a weekly basis, have projections of different possible outcomes to be able to identify, really quickly, based on everything that is happening, what is it looking like based on our predictions, and having the capacity of adapting and changing based on those possible outcomes. I think that is something that I think is a big risk, being able to adapt, to have the right metrics on a daily, weekly basis to see how we're gonna change based on what's happening, and have a plan. And one thing, when Mike was talking, I think it is eventually at the end, weeks from now, months from now, everything that we're doing now is gonna pay off a lot. I mean, I don't think neither of us had this chance before to put so much, thought on thinking about customers, thinking about industry, trends, metrics, adjusting. I think I'm pretty sure at the end we're gonna be a lot more stronger. We're gonna have a lot more data, better relationships. So that would be my assessment. Make sure that you have the metrics, make sure that every week you understand where you are at, that you adapt, and you have a plan to move forward.
Thank you, David. Certainly agree here. And Todd, would you like to be the next one? The microphone is yours.
Yeah, sure. We're talking about the threats. Obviously, our business is very much about a subscription sales business. We're trying to add new customers to our subscription base faster than we churn them off. So, the math is pretty simple. We need to make sure sales continue to outnumber deactivations. So, looking at how can we turn inventory into active sales when sales are going down, and looking at how can we reduce and minimize those cancellations that are coming. The subscription suspension is obviously a great way to do that. But we also just push people a month. Sometimes customers call us and say, hey, we really need to cancel this service. We say, you know what, let's talk about this in a month. We'll give you a free month of service. We understand this is a rough month for everyone. And they seem to really appreciate that. And maybe next month they'll come back and want to cancel. If they do, we'll offer the suspension. Maybe they'll pay for an extra month. We're not sure. We'll see what happens. But I think obviously it's really about trying to keep the sales going as well, because even if cancellations remain the same and sales go down, eventually you reach the level where your sales aren't making up for your cancellations. So the lower sales level, everyone's looking at how they can cut their budgets. We're trying to really look for areas where we can make sense for a company and make a deal that makes sense for them, so they want to keep it go live today.
Right, Todd. So certainly all of us right now are focusing on those financial threats and how to stay afloat, how to be financially stable. So retaining clients, we talked about it. We talked about cutting budget. And of course, it's also important to focus on their sales. It's not an easy time to sell, but it's certainly possible to do that. And Sam, I would like you to also share your opinion about those threats and risks that you see in the current situation. It would be also great if you mention a couple of words about those threats that are related to the delays in hardware shipping. So do you experience such delays, and do you consider?
Absolutely. The risk is also related to the first question. One of the main risks we have is not communicate to our customers. So be proactive. Second thing, like just Todd said, be flexible. Interesting that Gurtam didn't wait for us to call them. They decided to be flexible. People in the finance industry, in the mortgage industry, they did that, trying to give relief. And we did the same thing. We did call them. And in some cases, even if we are on contracts, we told them, if you want, for a reason, you need to cut off your force. Yeah, let's go and switch you to a seasonal mode. That's what we do with our seasonal customers. And they were very happy about that. So we did that. But the main thing is also related around that. Having telematics not seen as just a commodity. We are a value. We give them the eyes they don't have, especially now. I'm looking, I have the image of Mike actually in my big screen, and I look where he is. So he's on a terrace and he has the city behind him. So while the manager is on that terrace, he knows with all of us where their people are in town. Are they safe? Are they on time? Are they doing what they have to do? So not communicate, not be flexible, and just being seen as another seller of telematics. These are the risks. And I'm going to stop there because we're going to talk about the.
So I can't agree with you, and I'd like to thank you for sharing the opinion on that question. Thank you all for sharing your knowledge and expertise. And now let's talk about the challenges. I think we talked enough, right, about the challenges that we faced during the COVID crisis. There is, however, no doubt that any challenge or impact can be turned into an opportunity. As we know from the history, crisis always creates such a vacuum to create new ideas, to create new strategies, and to turn your ideas actually into action. And just a few weeks ago, just actually like last Thursday, exactly a week ago, our panelists, our partners from all parts of the world discussed a good number of use cases related to such verticals as local deliveries, cold chain transportation of food and medicines, personal tracking of people on quarantine, and this is just to name a few. There are a lot of them. So dear panelists, what telematics industry related to opportunities do you see in the current situation? And well, here, Todd, would you like to be the first one to elaborate on this question?
Yeah, I think all of us like to look for the opportunities in every situation, and there are opportunities in every situation. We're noticing that the deals that we're closing now, on average, have a different profile. They look different than the ones we were closing a few weeks ago. People are, not as concerned about tracking certain things and more concerned about other things. The taxi industry and limo industry is not doing well right now, but the delivery industry is doing really well. Every restaurant needs to do deliveries now. So trying to close those types of deals, deliveries, but also a lot of businesses are sort of leaving expensive assets in place while workers are not showing up to work. The construction industry in particular, we're seeing a lot of our construction companies come back to us and say, you know what, we need more GPS and more cameras because these construction sites with all this equipment are just being left alone. No one's there. Or they have very small number of people there working in specific areas where they're not interacting with each other and they're isolating people, similar to the way we do on our warehouse. So there are definitely opportunities. I think looking to the customer, listening to the customer. There are certain customers that just aren't going to be calling us for the next month or two. And other customers we will be calling. We just need to be actively listening to understand how these customers are different and how the value is different that we're delivering. The two we've noticed have been delivery and assets left in place that have definitely taken off. But I'm sure there are others. I've been trying to figure out how can we track ventilators. That seems to be something that's a big issue. Where are they? How are they getting around? But that's an inter-hospital issue right now.
Right. Thank you, Todd. I think the security niche of the market, all these projects related to our security and safety are the one that we all have to pay more attention to. Those use cases related to the constructions are a really good one. And Sam, would you like to be the next one? What opportunities do you see in the telematics industry today?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the first one we had in mind after talking to our customers with employee devices and then telematics, we did call in the third week all of our close prospects just to tell them, we know we were talking to you, just to let you know that we're there and it's continuing. So if you need, instead of your 25, 50, if you need 5, we're there to start, So again, be flexible. Everything related to security, agencies, security guards and all that stuff. We didn't have the time to go to them. They came to us. So that's very nice because they're placing security guards where there were none before, or almost none. Here we have a big problem here in the province with the elderlies, with the residences, I think you call them, where there were no guards. Now they all have guards. So, it's a new booming industry. Like Todd said, the delivery, And again, be flexible instead of, because some of these companies sometimes, if they don't have any telematics or stuff like that, it's because they don't see it as a value. And sometimes they think they need these big numbers to be able to have these programs or join these programs. So maybe lower your entry-level numbers to 3, 5, 10. We were very successful as doing that. And we are bringing these guys 3, 5, 10 to 15, 25, 50. Because when they use Gurtam and you say they don't want to get rid of it, it becomes a tool for them. So I think this is one thing. WiaTag for sure. WiaTag is easy to deploy. It does the job. And for us, it's very easy. Take it for 3 months if you want. And again, after 3 months, they keep it because they like the visibility that they had. Todd talk about the equipments as well. Yeah, construction company are leaving stuff on construction sites, but also on side of the roads, in fields, everywhere. So there are a lot of possibilities. We just need to sit down and listen and see what is going on.
Thank you, Sam. And I also was very happy to hear that you have a good reputation of the company who provides personal tracking services, and now this reputation works for you. Now those people are calling to you, and the industry of related to the quartz, related to the personal tracking is booming. So I'm happy to hear that you have more businesses now. Now, Mike, would you like to be the next one? The microphone is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. No, that was great. Sam and Todd, that was spot on. That actually helps, and I hope a lot of my team members are watching this right now because I think those are some good lessons. Earlier I mentioned SWOT, SWOT, and that's what it's called, the SWOT analysis, and I think that's what we're going through right now. I looked it up right there, and it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I think that is the exercise that we're all going through right now, is that SWOT analysis. You know, I don't even know that I can add. I think Sam and Todd really nailed it right there. I love the idea with delivery drivers, right? That you have restaurants now that maybe they weren't in the delivery business, and now they certainly have found themselves there. They have to go to the customers rather than being that destination for the customers. It's true. We do a lot with construction companies and stuff as well. And, you know, it's definitely has slowed, but I think that's a great point right now, that you've got high value assets that are sitting in the middle of fields all over the place. And if I own them, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, right? Not knowing that a person wasn't there physically watching those assets, those high value assets. So I think there's a real value there in asset monitoring and being able to keep an eye on those. You know, great thing about Gurtam too is the mobile app, right? That mobile app, and I go through that a lot with people, and I'll take it and I'll actually show them. I'll be like, look, you know, before you go to bed at night, maybe it'll make you feel better if you can just take a look on a map and be like, okay, they're all in the yard, I can go to sleep now, right? And I think there's a lot of value there as well. So I think those are some great points that were made. The opportunities there are really that visibility and creating another set of eyes that now people can have remotely that they used to have in their office or workplace, and they can have by utilizing the features and functionality within Gurtam. And you know, certainly I'll add that the mobile application, I think, is an important value add right now.
Thank you, Mike. I can't agree more. And talking about the WiaTag app, of course, again, your point about the communication, that the communication is a key to success. The WiaTag app, of course, allows you to communicate with those people who you are tracking. So we are glad that you can see where your employees are, but you can also quickly chat with them, making sure that they are safe and sound. And yes, I also want to highlight that from what I know, you're offering not just a simple GPS tracking solution, but not just a dot on the map, but sometimes with some of your projects related to cold chain transportation, using the humidity sensors, the temperature sensors. So I believe this is also resonates with you at this current situation of coronavirus when so many food deliveries are made. So thank you, Mike, for sharing your wisdom right now. And right now I'd like to ask. So Mike already shared their opinion. Todd, would you like to elaborate more on this question?
On the lasting changes?
On the opportunities that we all can see. I believe Mike already spoke, Sam already spoke, and now, oh, I'm sorry, Todd, it's David's turn. It's David's turn right now. So David, would you like to elaborate more on that question?
Just, probably a couple of additions. I mean, I agree with all the points. I think asset management, mobile workforce management are critical. Security, diagnostic, and all that. If I will add something else, it would be kind of more reporting when it comes to risk management and resource planning, I guess, to help, our customers through all this time, help them assess their current risk and better plan all the different resources. I think that would be an addition. And then last thing that I would like to add, on the ELD side, we have access to all different shipment information from drivers, from companies. One thing that we did is we compared shipment information from January, February to March, the whole month, specifically looking at commodities. What is it that the drivers are currently moving in Canada, US, and Mexico? And yeah, of course, if you look at January, February, you see a lot of, it's a big miss. You see automotive parts, crates. It's a lot, it's all over the place. And we're looking for words with the highest hits on all the shipment. Now, March, we definitely saw a big change when it comes to medical equipment for sure, but then we see a lot of hits when it comes to supermarket, food, produce, a lot of oranges, tomatoes, medicine, and all that. Definitely all over the place. When you compare to previous months, it was a big change. So we see on the ELD side that the numbers are still strong, growing, drivers are moving, just that the big shift was kind of like a lot towards, medical equipment and again, foods and household supplies and all that. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, David. Those are very valuable observations, and I certainly agree that there are those cold chain transportation, those food deliveries, those verticals are booming right now. So we all should get advantage of those opportunities. And I think, yeah, we talked about enough about those opportunities, and now I'd like to offer everyone to have a brief look at the major data analysis that was made by our Gurtam flespi team. So there will be a video shared with everyone in a minute, and also the link to this video will be shared with our audience in the chat. So this video shows, and let's play it. So this video shows the growing effect of COVID-19 on telematics. As the fleet's activity slows down in all countries, the world map gradually turns red. Again, the link to it was shared. The data is updated daily. So we suggest everyone check it from time to time with the hopes to see the emergence and growth of green sports. One day we'll see the world will get green again. But of course now, as you can see, the world is red because the activity of the fleets is going down. So based on that analysis, it becomes very obvious that COVID-19 will have a long-term effect on telematics. However, everyone finds a way to adapt and even tap into creative skills to work around these changes. I think it's just the human nature. So drivers transporting medical supplies, food, household goods got their temporarily hours of service regulatory relief. Uber decided to suspend the ride-sharing option. They also decided to pay the minimum of $50 wages to all of their drivers. And you partners also adapted and will continue adapting to this pandemic. And we all know it's not going to last forever, right? Remember, this too shall pass. And all of us will get back to our offices, right? And then what? What, partners, my question is, what long-term impacts do you predict for the telematics industry, and how all of us will need to adapt to these changes? And Sam, this time, would you like to be the first one to share your vision on what the future holds for us?
Well, thank you, Anna. Like the other guys on the conference, we are entrepreneurs, we are salespeople, so we just see the positive side of it. Who would have said that September 11 would have changed so many things in logistics, in the banking industry, in the security of data and everything? I think this one will be, the changes will be others, but there will be a lot of changes. One of them, if we take our customers, they are going to install equipment, devices on their equipment because they just paid $300,000 for that truck and trailer or whatever. This is immediate value and they want to protect it. Equipment, all the guys said that we're very strong on vehicles. Now we're seeing an opportunity in equipment, and we see it as well. And I think that's going to be the same thing. Now, in the language of all the entrepreneurs, when you talk to them, their biggest value when they talk about it is their employees. We have been in this business for a few years, and now we see it, the way the employers are looking at the employees and the employees are looking at their job, because they're doing a lot of stuff like robots, you know. We arrive at work in the morning and all that. Now they just find out that, you know what, I'm working alone, I'm 55, it's night shift, whatever that is. So this is going to change a lot of things internally in the companies also, how the people are seeing each other and how they see the task they're doing. Okay, fine if you put some devices on the equipment, what about me? So that's what is interesting with WeAttack. We already see a lot of growth with WeAttack, and we see a lot of interest for that. 3 words. The security has not been the same since September 11. Again, now, same thing. Control. Now we saw a lot of our customers kind of losing control in all this elements happening. Now they're going to take control again. And visibility. Again, it's always the same thing. We always say to the customer, whatever they want to track, we give you the eyes that you don't have for your people, your equipment, or your vehicles. That's the way I see it, and it's going to go day by day. Thank you.
Sam, thank you so much. Yes, this is the time of change, and certainly the security, the telematics industry is so important. It's getting affected, and the value of telematics will be more than ever rising. So, Mike, would you like to be the next one and continue on that question?
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. And yeah, and thank you, Sam. This is great. I'll tell you honestly, I'm getting a lot of value out of this conversation. I'm taking notes here too as quickly as I can, kind of on the side so no one can see. But I think those are great points. And you know, I'll go back to what I said earlier about no one's going to come out of this unchanged, right? Everyone's going to have their own perception of now what is valuable. What we saw almost immediately is a lot of people that were sitting on the fence, with placing orders moved. They moved very quickly, and they moved into engaging, and they placed those orders. And you know, as a consequence, we had a very good March. I anticipate April to be a little different. Certainly, I think Sam's point right there with security, control, and visibility, those are three great bullets. That makes a lot of sense. And if you look at some lessons learned, look at September 11th, look at even 2008, and you know what we went through with the financial markets and the housing markets in 2008, it changed me, right? I can tell you that I manage things a lot differently now because of that. And I think as business owners and the business owners that we're talking to, they're also going to look at their business a little differently. That's a great point, Sam, too, with the value of their employees, right? Because that is certainly a two-way street. We all value our jobs, right? Right now, there's a lot of value and gratitude, right, or gratefulness that we are employed, that we're not part of those numbers that came out this morning. You know, for the people that are on this call, and you know, I think gratitude is a word that I use a lot. I think we all need to be grateful for what we have, but I think that also employers are going to be grateful the other way, right? They're going to be like, man, this is great. I count on these people every day. I thought I was doing them a favor, but man, I really count on them to keep my business moving. So I think again, and to use another one of Sam's bullets is visibility. They're going to want that visibility also. And, these are things that we offer. And the ability to help kind of control some of that. And I know, Sam, I just went through all your bullets again, but I wrote them all down as you were talking. I think there's a lot there. There's a lot of value in that, and I think that there's a lot that can be learned from this. And again, I think that we're all going to come through this. We're going to come out of this completely changed. Thank you.
And certainly, Mike, this change is for the better. We will learn a lot from this situation, and I certainly agree with both of you, Sam and Mike. Having a strong team you can rely on is extremely important during the crisis time. And David, here I'd like to pass the microphone to you, and please share your.
I mean, I completely agree with Sam and Mike. I think a lot of interactions between friends, co-workers have already changed. They're changing, and I think this is going to be kind of like the biggest impact, at least for the following months throughout the year. And that would probably also define the interaction between us and our customers. So a lot of things are happening. There is a lot of uncertainty. So I guess it's a matter of going through it, understanding what's happening, adapting, and get to the end. And again, I trust 300%. We're all going to be stronger at the end. We're doing a lot of things that we're not doing the same way before. And that's going to pay off eventually. Just, we need to stick together now. Things that we're doing right now, sharing data, talking to each other, sharing plans, help, everything. And yeah, we're going to change, but we're going to, at the end, we're going to be stronger, and that's it.
Certainly resonates with me. And Todd, would you like to share your thoughts about the future?
Yeah, I think the previous panelists definitely hit on a lot of great areas. There are definitely things that we can sort of predict that they will change, and in some cases we might even know what direction they might change. I think the biggest thing is, much like after the 2008 crisis, we are going to see a downturn in the economy. It's going to last a year or so. We need to be carefully watching the numbers every day and looking for that next opportunity. There are going to be a lot of companies that decide working from home ain't so bad, and paying for rent be something they don't need to do anymore. We're certainly reevaluating for that. So how much office space do you actually need? How many people are comfortable working from home? A year ago, we asked all of our New York team who would be comfortable working from home most of the time and meeting in the city once or twice a week. And about half the team was on work from home all the time. Half the team said they really feel more comfortable in the office. We repoll that may look different next month, because people are becoming more comfortable working from home and finding that balance. So we're not exactly sure what that's going to do to the economy. We're not sure what that's going to do with real estate. We're not sure what that's going to do in a lot of areas. There could be follow-on repercussions to that. People's work habits change, people going to different places, the way they work. Also, certain areas we may find that tracking people becomes more important. Right now, we track lone workers a lot. In Canada, it's a law. You have to track lone workers. In America, it's not a law. We may create some sort of system in the future where you have to track the whereabouts of medical professionals because they're the first line of defense. And when they get in contact with someone who was, infected with something, you want to quickly figure out where everyone is and who they touched. We don't know everything, but I think we need to be actively looking at the trends and trying to put the dots together and connect them and see if there is a trend and what will be a lasting change, because I think there will be lasting changes that we can't even think of yet.
Thank you, Todd. Those are very, very valuable observations. And you are absolutely right. We do not know what other changes it will bring. We should be ready to observe and to adapt. And this is great that we are adapting, working now remotely from home. Of course, there are advantages, disadvantages. So it's also great that you're asking for the feedback. So those polls that you used to ask for the feedback from your employees, again, getting back to the topic of how important it is to communicate clearly, and this is the key to success. So I'd like to thank all of our panelists. Somehow there are no additional questions from our audience, but I'm confident about it. We had a very, very fruitful discussion today. And I want to thank our panelists who generously shared their knowledge and wisdom with all of us. Thank you for bringing positive insights and positive energy. Despite the current worrying global environment, you are staying strong. We now more than ever need perspectives that shed light on different angles of the situation and keep us motivated and inspired to continue our work and support one another. I'm confident that your vision, expertise, and guidance will play a crucial role in this for many of us. So the few more announcements I would like to make, and some of them are very important ones. So dear partners, during these difficult times, many of us will be seeking additional support from our governments, right? Some of you might have already applied for SBA loans and other various support programs. And some of you, perhaps, are only in the initial stages to apply for government assistance. So to make this process easier, we are happy to share with you the file where my Boston office colleagues collected a good amount of useful links to the websites which allow you to get up to date with many COVID-19 related business support programs. So it's important, those are all useful links related to North America. And it's also important to check this file from time to time because we will always update it and add more resources, more useful resources related to such support programs. Most of these website links, they allow you to sign up for the updates and stay tuned. Then I also want to say that it's not a secret, right, that almost every country in the world has imposed severe quarantine measures to stop the disease from spreading any further. And we all know how well connected we are in terms of economics. And if an economically dominant country like China, like USA, are on the downfall, we are all affected, just like domino theory. So of course we as a Gurtam, as a global company, are getting affected a lot. But despite all the difficulties, we should all stay united and support one another. So as Gurtam, we are here to support you, and therefore we are ready to make a couple of steps. And I know many of you already heard about seasonal units module being activated. There is one more additional announcement related to the seasonal units. So what this module actually allows you to do, it allows you to deactivate the units temporarily. Let's say tomorrow some construction guy is calling you, some taxi guy is calling you and saying, I want to cancel the service. Don't let them cancel it. Often to suspend the service, because we all know we'll get out of this crisis and they'll be able to get back to normal. Those businesses will certainly get back to normal or even boom, like construction businesses. And thanks to the seasonal module, seasonal units module, you will be able to restore the units just with one click of your mouse. The additional announcement about it is that there are no more limits about how many units you can restore. Before, you could restore on how many units you can deactivate. Before, you could deactivate only 50% of your units. Now, if you need to deactivate more, feel free to do that. And before, you were able to deactivate them only for 90 days, but you know, seasonal units, we have a coronavirus season. It's not a summer season, it's not a fall season. We don't know how long this crisis will go on. So again, these 90 days limits are off until further notice, because we'll all track the situation with the crisis. And once we get back to normal, we'll make additional announcement about it. If you want to gather more information about this module, feel free to contact your personal managers. And one more announcement, as you may also already heard, our Gurtam flespi team is ready to contribute to the fast recovery of communities and the global economy. So I would like to ask to share the link to COVID-19 rescue campaign. Okay, the link was shared, and it's my honor and pleasure to announce that Gurtam flespi team is ready to give a free commercial flespi account for the development of any anti-COVID-19 project. They will also provide a guidance, a technical assistance for such projects. They are also ready to make a quick applications developments. So, dear partners, if you know the government project that is obviously related to the technology and it is related to their fight with this coronavirus that helps to prevent the spread of this virus, please contact Sergey Leuchenko, whom you all know really well, and he'll be happy to communicate with you further on those government-related projects. Dear guests, I also want to invite you to one more Gurtam meetup. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, there will be a Gurtam meetup with our hardware partners from all over the world. BICS, Quackling, Tiltonica, StreamMax. And we will make an emphasis on camera solutions. We will make an emphasis on personal tracking. If you have those questions, how long will you be expecting the delays in shipping? Any other questions to our hardware partners, please join tomorrow at 10 a.m. And the link, the registration link was just shared. One more very important announcement. It is a little disclosure. More information about it will be posted next week only, and it is related to limits for the wialon certification. So, dear partners, if you'd like to get most of this time and learn more about wialon functionality, we encourage all of you to sign up to Gurtam training portal and to pass their certification test. If before we offered to pass this test only to one member of your team for free, now all members of your company can pass this test, get the results, get the feedback from our specialists, and based on those results, we will be also happy to offer you additional training. It's now more than ever we need to pay more attention to the value of the wialon platform and how you can benefit, how you can use it in different COVID-19 related use cases. So more details will be again shared just in a week. And one more thing, is that this is just the start. This is the first regional Gurtam meetup in North America. It's definitely not the last one. We will be preparing more panel discussions, more workshops. There's so many things we can discuss. We can talk about the requirements for hardware that needs to be used in such use cases. We can talk, we can brainstorm, just look at all business spheres that that are here and think about which one are declining, which one are rising. Again, brainstorm the ideas of how we can get the most of it. We'll have more webinars. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Remember, your partner success managers, and now I would like a little screenshot to be shared. 1 second, please. Remember, your partner success managers, Ranjan, Liana, Kate, your wialon technical consultant, Soren, and our new team member and partner success manager, Andrew, will be more than happy to catch up with you on COVID-19 and guide you through the impact that COVID had on your businesses. Let's stay united. Let's support one another during these challenging times and share our wisdom to best navigate this crisis. Together, we'll become only smarter and stronger. Thank you. Thank you, dear panelists. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. Have a productive and beautiful Thursday.